And let me remind all of you all that the last 5, 7 minutes, we would love for our audience members to ask questions, share their thoughts, experiences, if any, comments. And please do join in the conversation on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. And please do tag us. Also, do remember to use our hashtag. We look forward to seeing what you all think about the various sessions that we've lined up for you. For now, taking conversations and decoding the role of FM in eliminating workplace productivity blockers forward is Mr. Aravind Babu Ramaraju, Head Global Admin, Center of Excellence in Workplace Transformation, LTI Mindtree. A round of applause as I extend a warm welcome to Mr. Sudeep Ghoshal, Senior Vice President, Administration and Infrastructure, Reliance Capital, and a round of applause for our session chair, Mr. Shailendra Nath, Independent Consultant, Real Estate Services. What a pleasure to have all three of you join us, and we look forward to this very interesting conversation. All yours.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Pleasure to be here. Thanks to ET for having this panel. I think we're running quite a bit late on time, but that's how our lives are, right, on a day-to-day basis. We have our discussion of this discussion point of this panel is how to manage productivity blockers in our day-to-day office lives. And I think most of us as FMs understand that there are blockers all through, not just in the workplace, but even as people thinking of coming to the workplace, we are already there trying to manage stuff. So that's the interesting side of it. Coming back to our discussion point, I think the first aspect that starts where the productivity starts or the efficiency thought process starts is the selection of the location where we are going to work, right? So I would like Aravind to maybe start on that as to what considerations do you keep in mind, and because your industry is very skill specific. So how do you
Thank you,
get that?
Shailendra. So good afternoon, everybody. So the question comes to mind, wherein does the productivity start once you reach the office, or is it something that is ubiquitous and is available everywhere? So thanks to COVID, we are all discovered that offices need not necessarily be the place where we work, right? We all work from home, and we have enabled work from home as facility managers. We ensured that all of our resources were appropriately resourced and equipped to be able to be productive from home as well. So coming to that point, and if we are looking at how productivity can be beyond a workplace, and what is it that we do to make sure that we unblock those productivity blockers, I think where do we look at setting up a workplace comes and lands as a very important question. We were having a chat a little while ago, and Captain Sudeep was mentioning that a big part of his thinking in setting up a new place, earlier he was with Accenture, currently he's with a financial institute. So a big part of it, what goes in setting up an office place, is to make sure that when my employee arrives at office, is he or she already drained, already tired, and already looking forward to wind up the day? Or is he coming in, or is she coming in with a mindset that, okay, now that I'm in my office, let me achieve what I've set out for today? So the first and foremost question that comes into mind, and we want to just sequence it in a manner, is that where is it that we want to set up a workplace? Workplace, of course, is now boundaryless. It can be someone's home, it can be a Starbucks cafe, it can be a metro rail, it can be your cab ride as well, because you're all contributing and working while you're commuting as well. But looking at a workplace in specific, or office space in specific, where exactly are we trying to put it, and how are we trying to enable people coming in there already charged up to be facing the day, rather than drained and kind of looking forward to close? So that's where I would start.
Sudeep, your business requires multi-locational, number one, and I think a lot of cross-office networking would also be required for people to be meeting, interacting, engaging. How do you manage the engagement at that level?
Thank you, Shailendra, for the question. Good afternoon, everybody. Actually, before I begin with the actual topic, being a typical Fauji and like Jasdeep actually has already given us the platform, I would like to give a small anecdote from my Fauji life. And I'll try to just tell how it correlates with what we do here in the corporate world and how it helps all us veterans to actually take up things on a daily basis. So a situation 25 years back, almost 25 years back, a young lieutenant standing at Bombay Central Station, going for his first assignment, that is Operation Vijay, Kargil War. His college friends with him, all of them messing up his mind. Half of them, you'll get killed, don't go, stay here. Why you have to report? Don't report. Half of them, one brings a Ganpati idol, one brings a knife. If you get caught by the enemy, if something happens to you, you can pray. If you get caught by the, keep it in your shoes. You can maybe use it if you become a prisoner. So all sorts of mind games by my own college friends. And what is happening in my mind? Ready, I'm going there to die or I'm going there to fight. And in all this, my mother, she's standing there, and then she sees this, what is happening. My friends, some of them literally crying, they had already decided that this guy is not going to come back. So then she calls everybody, and she says, Beta, don't worry about us. We are all fine, we'll be fine. You guys, you and your other colleagues in the Pulton, concentrate on only fighting. We want you back victorious. आपको जीत के आना है वरना आना नहीं है. This was my mother's talk to me. So the next moment, I'll just correlate this. The next moment, my college friends who were till then talking about tu mar jayega, mat ja, stay back, don't just report and all that, they start talking, mere taraf se do ko maar dena. That one line from my mother changed their entire perspective. And they were like, tu वापस आना, अभी we are waiting for you and don't worry, we are here and we'll take care of your family, we'll take care of your parents, don't worry, we are all there. They're all college friends, by the way. So now, that was a blocker, a mental blocker, which my own friends were creating for me. And how just one simple communication from my mother helped us come out of that entire mindset block. Even my friends, who till then were actually talking all negative, they started talking positive. So now coming back to the corporate world, how we can actually correlate that is first and foremost, I think, like Aravind just mentioned, our first and foremost thing is today I take 2 hours to travel and reach my office place. Is it worth it? Half of us will say no, but in some places like Bombay, we don't have any other option. With so much of construction work going on, we still travel that much. So what we do is, I'll just come to you. We have actually scattered our offices depending on the demography of the employees. So that the employee, while he starts from home, he knows that I don't travel more than 30, 40 minutes, and I'm there and I'm fresh to start with my work. Same way, if a person has to go for a particular meeting, it's the person who is closest to that particular location from the client's location who will be assigned the task. It's not that someone who is in the head office has to compulsorily travel that much and go to that place. So these are the small little comforts that we try to give to the employees.
So, Sudeep, just picking up from your anecdote, I think today the kind of confidence possibly your mother gave you at that instance, today it's the facility management professionals who have to stand and give that comfort to every employee in the organization that you can come back to the office.
Yes.
It is safe. And today, I think beyond being basic safe, it is also giving you a much, much better, conducive environment to work, to collaborate, and to be in, to kind of become a part of an organizational culture, which helps you not just at a personal level, but also at a organizational professional growth perspective. So how is that communication on, and what are the efforts kind of in place? And then what is the communication effort going on in your organization?
Right. So the first communication actually begins with the management, the leadership. If I'm not wrong, just in our previous panel discussion, I heard Vikas Chawla, he just happened to mention that they are actually going to get into a new office. And his point was, we want to attract good talent. And that's the reason we are moving into a new office. So your communication actually begins with your leadership and what they feel, whether they really want to, get good talent and attract them and want to retain them. So one, yes, here the HR function also comes into picture. So, but who is the first impression? I mean, the day a new employee enters the office, you are the one who is going to give the first impression. Your reception, your front office, they are the guys, the security is the guy. So what kind of comfort a person gets the moment he enters into the office is what we would try to communicate, whether it is at the reception, the direction to go to a particular training room where they will be getting their induction training. And once you get into the induction mode, what is that you want to communicate to these new joiners who are looking up to you, whom you can give that confidence on day one that, yes, they can stay here for a while. You can maybe start with your own example, how you join and how things happen with you, and then you give that comfort level to the employees right from the induction training itself.
Sure. So, Aravind, coming back to you, he's right, that the management commitment, comfort giving is the start and, of the whole thing. But there is a lot of information, there's a lot of functional, operational information that we as facility managers can share and directly with the employees. So what is the kind of endeavors that you are looking at in your organization on that front?
Sure. Thanks for the question and great question. So we broached on where do we kind of set up a place. Then we kind of looked into why is a workplace design, Compass example just now mentioning that they want to retain and attract top talent. So they want to create a better workplace design. So I think that's the point, right? How do we communicate and what do we do in terms of communicating to the employees who are coming and joining us is that each office is built for a certain purpose. And I also like the distributed workplace model that you mentioned, right? We kind of take the workplace closer to the people, and it is possible in some of our industries, and naturally in some industries it's not possible. So, so when we have this distributed workplace, it is fit for certain purpose. It is built to meet the needs of certain workplace deliveries. I think that's where we strike the chord with our occupiers, with our employees, and with the stakeholders to say that, hey, we have created this workplace which is agile. So you can get these kind of works done in our office. Now that we have some more space and slightly away from the city, we have also created these training rooms and these collab spaces where you can correlate, collab, co-train, co-create, etc. So the functionality of why is that we have designed and created a workplace, the fact that how the employee population can utilize it and be more productive. Gone are the days when we have only cubicles and cabins and conference rooms. So now the latest workplace do not even have most of the cabins. The go-to organizations, the strategy most organizations are going to is moving away from the cabin culture and bringing the work out in the open. Unless and until you need to really do a confidential work or something that requires a private space, for which these focus booths or telephone booths or conference rooms or two-seater discussion rooms are all coming up, but everybody is coming out and working in the open. Now, why is it that we are doing it? So that you're making a mention that we are egalitarian in nature, there is no hierarchy, we are all contributing to the same cause of the organization, so we need to work together. So the communication, not necessarily formally in terms of writing an email or giving an audience or giving a talk, also in terms of what is the workplace saying? What is it screaming loud? Is it saying that we are a fun and hep place? Or is it saying that this is where we come together to create something? Or is it saying that, hey, this is where we need to be more formal because it's a kind of a boardroom or annexes to a boardroom? So the design of the workplace also is making some communication. How do we kind of translate and let people meet their workplace aspirations and what they need to get done at a workplace is up to us, right? We kind of become the interface between what is the functionality of a particular place and how do we relate it to the user group.
Sure. So, and in fact, and especially post-COVID, there is a lot of focus that has come in terms of flexi work policies. So people are not just working from their supposed desk in an office. It could be any of the work locations or office locations, as Sudeep mentioned here. And at the same time, there is the flexibility of working from home. And one fine day, you might have a requirement where maybe 90% or even 100% attendance is there in the office. In that environment, having the right size of the office, having the right space available at any point of time to mix and match those flexible occupancy levels across the life cycle in a year is also become critical. So, and the workspace expectation is now not just to have workstations, but also to have a lot of add-on spaces which are catering to health, which is catering to mental well-being, and all the lot of engagement, informal engagements also, not just productive engagement that's coming through. So a lot of effort, I would say, is going there. Any new offices that either of you would have built up in the last 1 or 2 years? And how did you go about designing that, if you have?
No, actually, I have not done a new office in the last 1 year or so. But yes, prior to that, we have done. I can give an example of how, again, from a scattered place, how we had, come into one location. At least the corporate offices and the headquarters of all the Reliance group companies had come into one location, not very far from here in Santa Cruz. And how it helped us. So we were again in an office which was one of these scattered office things, and we were doing our employee satisfaction things. In that, we actually found the workplace satisfaction report came to just 27% for us. So it was a big showdown for the entire team and department. I was personally called by the chairman, and only one word: I want this employee satisfaction to go above 75 in the next 1 year. So from 27 to 75 was the target given. However, of course, our chief people officer was also part of this meeting, and we both decided that we have a task in hand. So when we moved, so moving people from their comfort zone, like we said, people were already attuned to a particular location, and the communications that went behind to tell them that what better things they can expect in the new facility, how the new facilities. We actually showcase the new facilities as a the five-star hotel for them. And we used to take them in batches, show them the location. Even if they have to travel, an extra half an hour to reach that place, they started developing that, liking for the place. So that was one major thing that we did. And the moment they were inside, once the employees were brought in from all the other locations into that one building, the kind of amenities and services that were provided to them in the first few months itself, it was actually in a way wherein you enter into a hotel, and the way a guest is treated by the hotel staff is what we were doing with these employees. The moment they got this kind of treatment, actually we were able to shoot up. We did not achieve 75 in the first year itself, but we happened to achieve around 68%. So we missed it with little bit, but we did that. So that, I mean, that I can tell about a new office that we were doing at that point in time. Of course, Aravind, you might have come up with more offices.
So yeah, we were on an opening spree. In the last 18 months, we have opened offices in 6 cities. The industry is growing. We are able to set up. See, one is, of course, we built to suit, and it kind of, we need to create.
The only software industry growing?
Sorry. So yeah, so aggressive plans, and organization wants to move to different cities, tier 1 and tier 2. We opened offices in, started with Pune, Kolkata, then Coimbatore, Hyderabad, as recently as Noida earlier this quarter, and last week we opened 4 more floors in Hyderabad.
So interesting, and I'll possibly twist the question for you. With those diverse geographies, what is the local cultural adaptation that you're doing in your design?
It's a very big element of what a workplace needs to reflect, not just to do the tick box in terms of reflecting the local culture, but more importantly, it's an engagement that we want to create to the local populace, right? For example, in Kolkata, we had replicated, and thanks, it's not just possible in all the offices. It's not possible in all industries. We were fortunate that the kind of delivery we are trying to do from those centers enabled us to do this kind of setup. In Kolkata, we have replicated the local designs of existing heritage Kolkata in our office space. The Noida office, which we opened recently, earlier last month, the nearby bird sanctuary was the theme, and we have replicated the similar theme. In Hyderabad, of course, there is a lot to get inspired from. One is, of course, creating those workplaces, and most important is that how do we continue to maintain, manage, and make sure that the end user is able to have a fantastic experience and day in and day out.
I think keeping the spirit of the design alive through the life of the office is the key.
For that, we need to have players who would really vibe with you, who would understand what you're trying to do. I must thank Rajiv runs some of our places, Sanjeev runs some of our places, Ashish runs some of our places. The kind of partnership we're able to build with them, and to be able to make sure that when my employee meets my partner's team members on ground, they absolutely see no difference, in the sense that they're as much enthused, as much energized, as much kicked up about the whole place, saying that they run to the employees and say that, hey, would you have seen this new place? Have you seen this new feature? Have you seen this technology that enables to do so and so? So as much as we are excited and we are able to communicate through our emails and broadcasts and CEO communiques, the partner's ownership of the whole element and taking it to the user in terms of translating it, that's a big productivity enhancer.
Okay, thanks. So an interesting example I would like to share, I've been engaging with an organization. They're building a large office, about 2.5 lakh square feet. On multiple levels of that, of that office, they have different kinds of vegetation introduced. So each floor has a different kind of vegetation. Of course, there are food F&B facilities, a variety of that. And besides the routine health and wellness, I won't say routine, they are kind of among the best facilities that they are providing. Over and above that, they have gone ahead and put in a 22-yard cricket pitch with a bowling machine in place. So, you know, that's what organizations are willing to go to. I think maybe one of our last points for discussion, agile workspace, flexi working, it's putting a lot of, I think, effort into planning, into coordinating, and a lot of that can be achieved maybe more so by technology and more efficiently. So what are the kind of tools that you have brought into place?
So luckily we work for a technology company. A lot of things that we want to do, we can get to try on our own environment, etc. To that point, I think technology plays a very big role in terms of making sure that what we are trying to make available for the users is appropriately, how do you say it, the supply chain is maintained in a right manner so that everyone gets an equal opportunity to use it. For example, our visitor management system, it's high-tech. You walk into a place, there is an iPad, it captures you. If you had come there before, the face recognition tells you that do these remain as your coordinates. If you confirm, the host is informed. So it's a pretty seamless and easy process to walk into any of our offices. Making sure that the corporate security controls are there, the access controls are there, the host is always accompanying, etc. Then our booking of a workspace and how often do I do that? Very weird problem and an interesting problem for us to have is that we have an acute shortage of space in most of our tier 2 cities. And when we do that, everyone wants to come to office, we don't have ample space. So how do we kind of tell people that, why don't you come on another day without offending them, right? A, we want them to come to office, and they're really making an effort to travel and come. We are saying that, sorry, we don't have seat for you today. So how do we kind of manage that using technology? We are making sure that people book, and when they book, we are encouraging them to check in so that we know that the place is used. If someone has not come 2-3 days consistently after booking, how do we disincentivize the whole process by making it difficult for them to book the next time? So we are using technology there. And of course, we're partners with some of the best F&B and employee commute partners in terms of technology. We use Smart Queue by Compass. It makes pretty easy in terms of the whole F&B experience. We again use a commute tool for the rostering, the scheduling, the compliance, the checks and safety, SOS, everything is tech enabled. So users are using it in their personal life. For example, I book my show. or an Indigo seat booking, etc., and they see our seat booking, office seat booking space. User doing it in terms of a Zomato or a Swiggy for their dining experience, they use our own inside app. Uber and Ola, they use our own things. So making sure that technology talks to them in a language and in a manner and in an experience they appreciate, and making our backup is appropriate in terms of inventory and service levels, I think that's the game. And I think a lot of credit should go to the facility managers across who are continuously upskilling and staying ahead of the curve so that we are meeting the users' needs and making sure that they're productive continuously at workplace.
Sure. Sudeep, from a purely FM operations perspective and with multi-location operations, are you using specific tools for your own team to ensure seamless use of data and which helps you take timely decisions, and keep the show running?
Yes, we are. We are also using certain tools. Of course, not like the ones being used by IT setups, but yes, as far as whatever is required for the financial setup, we are using those tools, especially tools which are to be shared with our own partners. Like we said, how important it is to have the the relationship with the partners. They, right from assigning the task to them to carrying out preventive maintenance to carrying out. So these are the places in an operational daily routine day wherein we are not interacting with the employees. But if an employee is comfortable in terms of lighting, air conditioning, in terms of noise levels, in terms of, getting all the amenities and facilities which he is supposed to get, which the team is working behind, the right tools that have been given to them to ensure, and the data that is coming from those, maybe the sensors and the tools which help us to make sure that the equipments are running fine and they don't fail. And even if there is a failure, we are prepared for the backups, and the BCPs are there in place. Of course, COVID has taught us to add one more thing in the BCP list. So, but of course, BCP was always there, and we are ready for that also. So how prepared you are? And I'll go to the extent of saying that today, what we provide to the employees in terms of the resources that is being provided to them, and the kind of ease of accessibility to those resources and ease of use of those resources, whether it is a software tool or it is the availability of a person in front to give a glass of water, whatever it is, that makes a difference to that employee. And today the employee looks at that whether I am being given that kind of a treatment or not by the organization. So I'll say we have gone to the extent of getting more engaged with the employees rather than, I'm sorry if someone is from HR, but I think today we are slowly taking over that role. Some of us are already having that designation of experienced managers. So yeah, I mean, we are moving towards that.
So I would like to share an experience where I did some technology implementation, and the perspective was to have it kind of seamless, wherein a very basic process, which I think everyone will correlate to, your energy readings. We put up a system where all the energy readings were available on your computer, and the intent was that the readings go live for every customer, and the same goes to our finance, who can then raise the invoices for every tenant in the building. And now, blockers at two levels. One, client, I'm fine with the reading coming, like to see it on my screen, but I still need an electrician to sign the reading and then give it to me. Now, what is the benefit of that, and how then do I, if my electrician is to continue, then how do I justify any kind of efficiency coming in is a problem. And on the other side, similar approach by my own finance team, wherein, no, it's a matter of money, someone has to sign it, can't depend on a machine data coming through, even if, so the same approval process set up on an SAP to procure a 100 crore contract is fine, but to generate a few lakhs of electricity bill, or even if, let's say, a few crores of electricity bill with the same approval process won't work for them because it's facility management. Now, these are the kind of internal and external blockages, I think, that we need to overcome. As an industry, we have to kind of, it'll take a lot of effort to kind of push back on these kind of efforts, wherein the acceptability of use of data and moving forward, even AI, I think, has to happen, is where we would like to see things going. I think it will make our lives better, maybe tougher in some ways, but also a lot better in many ways, and make the workplaces more conducive uh, for the employees in the future. I think anyone would like to summarize? Yeah, I know. Okay, right. Any questions? Happy to.
Thanks. Just want to know, like when you're saying, you got the employee satisfaction percentage
Yes.
increased to 68%
Right.
after making some changes in the system, I mean, the office infra. So what was that precisely, which you feel that employees, got that satisfaction and which was not there earlier?
First and foremost, please sit. First and foremost, it was moving into a new office with, of course, a very new workplace design, providing them when I say about the resources, it's, the seating of their liking. I mean, which earlier was very restricted in our case. We being from the NBFC, we have, branch kind of functions wherein people are limited to only that works. Maybe one desk is shared by 3 people. All of a sudden, which is like 3 by 2 becomes a 4 by, 4 by 3 or something for them. And it was a standard maintained for everybody. It's not that, you have to have hierarchies and, very, very few cabins. Cabin holders, even the top guys will be outside with the team, with their own teams. So that was one. And the moment you do that, the interaction between the bosses and their team members increases. That helps. We as a department started communicating and going and taking feedback from each and every team. So whether it is all the other departments which are there in the office, and not just for one company, we did this for all the group companies of Reliance, which were like, at that point in time, there were almost 28 group companies located in one building. So almost, close to 4,500 employees. So we went to each and every team, each and every department, asking for what were their pain points in the new. Of course, we expect when you come into a new setup, there will be teething issues. So we started talking to them, and once we were able to give them the feedback that this is what you told us last week, this is our feedback on that, this is what action we have taken. That actually helped us, and I'll not just go to the extent of saying that as a department, we only achieved the employee satisfaction levels. We were actually given the, you can say, the best department out of all the other departments, whether it was finance, HR, business excellence. Business excellence did this entire thing from an external agency. And then they came up with the points with their all scientific ways of calculations. And that is how we, we achieved that target. And the department was number 1 in that year. So I will say communication is the most important. Giving that feel-good factor, the employee needs a face. We all need a face. When you have a real problem in hand, that time I don't think so. Sorry to say, all those who are supportive of the technology, when the time comes, I still believe it's the person behind the technology who matters the most. And that face, if today Sudeep Ghoshal is the face to 10,000 employees in Reliance Group, they know that I can go to this person at night 12 o'clock and he will still respond to me and he will give me that service. So I will still feel that kind of a service has to be given by us. Yeah.
Thanks, Sudeep.
Thank you so much. I'm afraid we don't have time for any more questions at the moment. I do assure you that during the networking lunch, which is going to be scheduled after 2 sessions, we'll be more than happy to connect you all. Thank you so very much. So some fantastic key takeaways there, most of it being how is it that we can use technology to its best. And of course, like Mr. Ghoshal said, it really is about the human touch, the personal touch, and you can't replace that. So once again, let's hear it up for our speakers right here.